Howard Kendall makes one change from the starting 11 from last weekend's victory against Newcastle. Graham Sharp hasn't recovered from the injury that forced him off at St James Park, so his replacement Paul Wilkinson starts today for the first time since early November. Peter Reid, Pat van den Hauwe and Paul Bracewell are all still absent for Howard Kendall's side. Everton have won 7 of their last 9 fixtures in all competitions, and that includes a 2-0 win against Leicester at Filbert Street in November. Well, Leicester City come to Goodison Park in rather shaky form. The Foxes are in the First Division relegation zone with just 1 win from their last 11 league games. Number 8 there, Steve Moran, ended his own personal goal-scoring drought in last week's 1-1 draw with leaders Arsenal. Joint Leicester City manager Brian Hamilton played 54 times for Everton, scoring 5 goals. But of course, he will always be remembered for the goal that didn't count. The final Goodison Park fixture then of the calendar year is upon us. Second placed Everton against third from bottom Leicester City. It should, on paper at least, be a formality for Everton, but this is Christmas and anything can happen at this time of year. Well, will it be another present for Everton, or will it be a late and very unexpected gift for the Foxes? We shall see. Everton against Leicester at Goodison Park. Good strong header by Dave Watson. Wilkinson knocks it down for Trevor Stephen, then Gary Stevens sends the first long ball forward, but it's well dealt with by Andy Feely. Full of confidence, Everton at the moment, and whilst I said earlier you can take nothing for granted, it would be a major surprise if the Toffees cannot narrow the gap at the top of the table on the pace setters Arsenal. Alan Smith wins the header, but Everton very quickly regain possession, but it's well chased down by Smith. Neil Poynton takes the throw in. That's good play by Alan Smith. Brings in Steve Moran, but it's well tidied up. And that will be an Everton throw in front of the paddock. Not the best ball forward that from Neil Poynton. Hands possession back to Leicester City. Trevor Stephen wins the challenge. Heath picks it up but can't find a blue jersey, and Mark Venus will just see the ball safely out of play on this near side. Here's John O'Neill. Infield to young Simon Morgan, onto Feely. Haven't been afraid to use young players this season, Leicester City. He's certainly one of them, Simon Morgan, and well, he does really well to emerge with the ball from that scenario. John O'Neill plays it forward, and Steve Moran will chase it, but it bounces safely through to Neville Southall. To Neville Southall again. This time he goes long. Wilkinson wins the first header, but Leicester City win the second ball. Gary Stevens wide to Trevor Stephen. First chance for Stephen to attack this Leicester City left flank. He plays it in field towards Sheedy, and it's an uncharacteristic sloppy pass from Kevin Sheedy, and Dave Watson guides the ball safely once again back to Neville Southall. Once again, Wilkinson is the target. John O'Neill gets a head on it, but the referee, who this afternoon incidentally is Mr. Roger Dilks, experienced referee, indicates that John O'Neill was climbing over Paul Wilkinson. Wilkinson will be desperate to make the most of his opportunity, Ronnie, this afternoon, in the place of Graham Sharp. Sheedy goes for goal, and wasn't far away. Cracking effort from the left foot of Kevin Sheedy. Ian Andrews may claim he had his angles right, but it certainly fizzed past the left-hand post. Regular goal scorer so far this season, Kevin Sheedy. Got 12 already. Venus will take the throw in, back to Simon Morgan. Gets penned in a little bit and has to go long. Gary Stevens intercepts. Here's Gary McAllister. Can't find Alan Smith though, and Kevin Ratcliffe will once again ease the ball back to Neville Southall. Second visit to Merseyside for Leicester City this season. That looked like a push in the back. Mr. Dilks waves play on. Yes, Leicester City came across the park earlier in the season and lost 3-1 against Liverpool in the League Cup. Alan Smith. Well, that's the Leicester City supporters you can hear in the background. They haven't had a great deal to cheer about so far this season, but they're determined to enjoy their festive afternoon out here at Goodison Park. Paul Power just failing to get on the end of that forward pass. A young Ian Andrews, who was 22 years of age earlier this month and can now call himself an England under-21 international, having made his under-21 debut against Sweden earlier this season. Got a good future ahead of him, Ian Andrews, good young goalkeeper. Here's Trevor Steven running at Mark Venus, then Steven brings the ball infield, just lays it off to Sheedy. Sheedy wide to Neil Pointer, onto Power, first time flick infield. Oh, it's a good little move that from Everton. Might not be over yet either. Everton foraging away, trying to win it back, and Sheedy emerges with the ball, and the challengers are flying in thick and fast in the opening stages of this game. The ball breaks for Alan Smith, and he plays it wide to Steve Moran. Steve Moran will run at Gary Stevens, makes himself half a yard, gets a shot away, but it's a comfortable save for Neville Southall. McAllister with the header. Gary Stevens powers it forward. Paul Wilkinson will chase it down. He's policed by John O'Neill. It's going to be a good tussle this afternoon, that. John O'Neill, the experienced Northern Ireland international, against Paul Wilkinson. All a little bit congested there in the middle of the park. John O'Neill lashes it forward. Watson wins the header. Steve Moran knocks it down for Gary McAllister. Good bit of skill by Gary McAllister, but good strong challenge comes in by Kevin Sheedy. Then Ramsey feeds it wide to that right hand side to Ali Morklin. Ali Morklin sends a long ball forward, headed away by Ratcliffe. And Mr. Dilks has seen an infringement that I must confess I didn't see. But no protestations from the Everton players, which is always a sign that maybe the referee got it right on this occasion. Danger for Everton here. 9 minutes on the clock. Leicester have made a decent fist of things in these early stages. McAllister takes the free kick but gets far too much purchase on it. It's over everybody and it's out of play. Well, scoring goals in the last couple of games has been Leicester City's problem, and they've certainly got to get their delivery a lot better than that if they also trouble the Everton defence this afternoon. Wilkinson wins that one. Trevor Steven gets on the end of it, gets a foot in before Mark Venus, plays it to Adrian Heath, crossed into the middle of the park, and it's well defended by Andy Feely. Good move again from Everton, incisive football down this right hand side, decent ball in, but Andy Feely did really well. Smith can't get a touch on it. Watson wins it in the air, it bounces in front of Ramsey. Wilkinson, that looked like a push in the back, and judging by the theatrical waves of the arms from Roger Dilks, I think he agreed, but he's let play go on, and it could be the right decision for Everton. Cross comes in from Alan Harper. Will it reach Sheedy on the edge of the penalty area? Closed down, and Everton are starting to ask a few questions now. Ramsey and Kevin Ratcliffe can play it all the way back to Neville Southall. Free header for Mark Venus, flicked in field by Alan Smith, hooked away by Sheedy, picked up by Paul Power. Power reaches the edge of the penalty area, but a good strong challenge comes in. He just wanted a wee bit too long, Paul Power. Poynton slips it into that left hand channel, and it's well defended by Ramsey, and a strong challenge comes in from Paul Power, and it's a free kick for Leicester. I think Paul Power still a little bit frustrated over his inability to take the opportunity just a few moments ago. Well, Ian Andrews certainly gets some distance on that goal kick. Too much distance for his colleagues. Here's Kevin Ratcliffe bringing the ball forward for Everton. Sheedy takes over, slides it forward to Heath. Heath lays it off to Alan Harper. Alan Harper waits for a little bit of movement on that left hand side and gets it from Paul Power. Back in field to Harper again. Good possession football from Everton. Adrian Heath trying to get on the end of it, and that'll be a corner kick for Everton. Simon Morgan, the defender. But some of Everton's passing and movement has been excellent in this opening 12 and a half minutes. And Kevin Sheedy will take this corner, but it's a casual one, picked up by Trevor Stephen and then hooked away by Simon Morgan. Watson heads it back, but it's not the best header from the Everton centre half. Trevor Stephen seemed to get his heels clipped at Adrian Heath in actual fact, and he didn't like the challenge from Ali Morklin, and he turned round and let Morklin know as well. Gary Stevens to take this free kick. Again, low trajectory. Good layoff though by Trevor Stevens to Harper. Wide it goes to Gary Stevens. First time ball in from Stevens is headed away by Morklin. Picked up by Harper. Tries to change direction of the play. It's headed away by Alan Smith. Guided wide by Neil Poynton. Cross comes into the penalty area again. Wilkinson's not going to get that. And it'll be a throw in for Leicester City. And as I say, they're asking questions, Everton, but they're not searching questions. Ian Andrews largely untroubled in these early exchanges. Well, Wilkinson wins the header, but he was under a lot of pressure from John O'Neill, and the Blues centre forward couldn't quite keep the ball on the island. Here's O'Neill, part of the Northern Ireland World Cup squad in Mexico last summer. Here's McAllister. Good footballer, Gary McAllister. Good control. But the challenge comes in from Alan Harper, and it'll be a throw in for Leicester. Swung into the penalty area, and well, Steve Moran got a glance on it, didn't he? But it was never likely to trouble Neville Southall from that distance. Wilkinson to Harper, into Heath, back to Harper again. Harper gets the cross into the penalty area, and it doesn't reach Paul Wilkinson because it was very well defended by John O'Neill. It was a teasing ball in, it was a dangerous ball to defend, and all credit to John O'Neill. He did really well to concede a corner there. In comes the corner. Wilkinson challenges. Trevor Stephen hooks it back into the danger zone. Headed down by Watson and turned in by Adrian Heath. And Everton have the goal. And you have to say it's been coming for the last 4 or 5 minutes. And Adrian Heath is on the mark yet again. 11 goals in 11 games now for Adrian Heath. He's in a sparkling run of form. Well, Paul Wilkinson got the first touch from the corner. Trevor Stephen turned the ball back into the penalty area. Dave Watson won the header, and the predatory instincts of Adrian Heath did the rest, and Everton lead by 1-0. Well, he's possibly in the form of his life, Adrian Heath, and every single Evertonian will be absolutely thrilled about it. His injury problems well documented, but the little man known affectionately as Inchy is right back on song. And so could Leicester City here, just forcing a corner. Gordon Mill, the former Liverpool player of course, and Brian Hamilton, he of the infamous Clive Thomas incident, will want their team to respond quite quickly. Corner kick, Leicester City. Dreadful corner kick, dreadful. Well, Messrs Milne and Hamilton are not going to get much of a response if the set piece deliveries are like that. Hand it over Liverpool is the chant from the Goodison faithful. Possibly a little bit premature, but Everton certainly well placed. Oh, good play again by Sheedy. The Toffees are in the groove now. Gary Stephen, that's a great ball. Good lay off as well. Trevor Stephen looks for Heath. He lets it go. Gary Stevens will run at Mark Venus and tries to take him on the wide, but he can't do so. And we'll have it. Oh, that looked as if it was out of play to me, and Roger Dilks agrees. And it's a corner kick for Everton. Well, from a corner kick just 2 minutes ago came the breakthrough. Once again, Everton, as is the way, not exactly pouring players into the penalty area. In comes the corner, and Mr Dilks sees an infringement inside the Leicester penalty area, and it all ends rather tepidly. Nice play by Steve Moran to pick up McAllister. Morklin plays it wide on that right hand side to Keeley. He looks for Ramsey, but Kevin Ratcliffe climbs well, and Neil Poynton puts his foot through the ball and clears his lines, and rather fortuitously reaches Paul Wilkinson. Here's Heath on that far side, and he was looking for Gary Stevens, couldn't find him. Good covering defending though by Dave Watson, who slotted into that right back position just to see Steve Moran away from danger. And John O'Neill plays it to the right hand side to Feely. Simon Morgan. That's a good strong challenge, and here come Everton again. Alan Harper to Adrian Heath. Look at that for the ball. If it was meant, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, Kevin Sheedy, but Gary Stevens couldn't keep it in play anyway, so it's rendered irrelevant. John O'Neill. Smith lays it off towards McAllister, but good foot in by Power. Here's Adrian Heath. More danger here for Leicester City. Trevor Stephen just outnumbered on the edge of the penalty area. Lays it back to Harper. Harper just waits and then plays it back to Trevor Stephen again, but Leicester City deal with that one. Here's Smith, but Leicester City just can't keep the ball. The intensity of Everton's play is too much for them. Cross from Gary Stevens comes off the back of the head of John O'Neill, and Mark Venus has to chase it down, and he wins a throw-in off Trevor Stephen. Yes, Everton just look a little bit too sharp, don't they, this afternoon for Leicester City. I'm afraid the signs are pretty ominous for Brian Hamilton on his return to Goodison Park. Seven points separate Everton from the league leaders Arsenal, but the Toffees do have a game in hand, and this is it. The Gunners don't play today, so the gap could be 4 points by 5 o'clock tonight. Simon Morgan gives it back to Andrews. They were actually teammates in that England under 21 game I referenced earlier. Simon Morgan and Ian Andrews. Feather in the cap for Leicester City that two of their men are in the England under-21 side. That's a great challenge from Kevin Sheedy. It's a good ball and it's a great finish. And Everton lead 2-0. And Paul Wilkinson gets the goal he desperately craved. Kevin Sheedy won the challenge. He dispossessed Simon Morgan, who tried to do too much inside his own half of the field. And Sheedy's timing of the pass was typically perfect. And Paul Wilkinson's finish was unerringly accurate. And already, as we approach the quarter mark of this contest, Everton lead by 2-0. 9 goals this season for Paul Wilkinson. 7 of those 9 have been in the League Cup. That looked like a nudge in the back from John O'Neill. Well, I said earlier it would be a good contest between Wilkinson and O'Neill, and so it's proving. And you have to say that Wilkinson's edging it so far. He's certainly ahead on points, that's for sure. Ratcliffe dinks the free kick in. It's headed away. Harper chases it down for Everton. Good strong challenge comes in from Kevin Ratcliffe, but could be danger for Everton here. Could be real danger. Oh, good challenge by Neville Southall. And again from Neville Southall. 2 tackles from the big man. 3 tackles from the big man. And that gets just about the biggest cheer of the afternoon. Well, he's never afraid to come off his line, Neville Southall, is he? But you rarely see him outside his penalty area. But he did really, really well there. Who needs hands? Might need his hands now. Corner kick comes in. It's headed by O'Neill. It's flicked on by Alan Smith, but it's flicked wide. Everton 2, Leicester City 0. Midway through the first half, and it's very much a case of so far so good for Howard Kendall. Mark Venus finds Feely, clips it forward, but it's won back again by Everton. And Leicester City's ball retention, you have to say, has been pretty poor. More defending with them to do as well. Not a good header by Mark Venus. Trevor Stephen chases it down, gets it back again off Dave Watson. Stephen trying to take Venus on the wide, does so, gets a low cross in, and it's well defended. But this could be anything. Everton are so on top here in this contest. Ooh, Alan Harper just waited too long. I don't think he realised that Gary McAllister was Paul Ramsey was in such close proximity. And the challenges are flying in thick and fast now. No quarter asked, no given out there. Dave Watson just the wrong side of Alan Smith then, wasn't he? And Everton may be fortunate to get away with that. There'll be a throw in on this near side that Mark Venus comes across to take. Just drops it in short, gets it back again. Decent ball in that from Mark Venus, and out comes Neville Southall. Heavy challenge from Paul Ramsey, but Southall caught it and kept it. Good play by Adrian Heath. Good determined centre forward play by Adrian Heath. Sheedy into the penalty area, and it just doesn't reach Trevor Stephen. But there's been an infringement anyway. Roger Dilks has spotted something that Paul Wilkinson didn't. Smith wins another header in the air. Good centre forward, Alan Smith. But, Steve Moran is penalised for the foul on Gary Stevens. real rags to riches story for Alan Smith. Signed from non-league Alvechurch for Leicester. Had a terrific partnership with Gary Lineker a few years ago, just before Lineker moved to Goodison Park. Here's Mark Venus. Goes Power, volleyed away by Ramsey, volleyed back again, and John O'Neill guides it safely back to Ian Andrews. Another prodigiously long kick by Andrews, headed away by Watson. Ramsey on the volley. Well, it's an attempt on goal. Neville Southall was totally unworried by it, but at least it's an Everton goal from Leicester City. Another player that was in the Northern Ireland World Cup squad was Paul Ramsey, Mexico in the summer. As the stadium announcer declares that your winning golden goal ticket this afternoon is 15 minutes and 14 seconds. I think there'll be a few more golden goals in this one, if the early opening half hour is anything to go by. And here come Everton again. Wilkinson finds Trevor Stephen. Stephen has to go all the way back to Dave Watson. And Watson finds Kevin Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe kicks it straight down the middle, but over everybody. Moreclan volleys it away. Picked up by Neil Poynton. Nice little ball by Poynton to Wilkinson, and Wilkinson almost makes it 3. Well, it was slow, quick, slow, wasn't it? Neil Poynton steered the ball through to Wilkinson, and a good early flick, clever flick by Paul Wilkinson. Just wide of the target. But like I say, I think there's more goals in this for Everton. Oh, good challenge. Now could be the time. Power, early ball towards Heath. Was he fouled on the edge of the penalty area? Yes, he was. Well, it was a messy challenge, and Adrian Heath certainly felt that. On comes John Clinkard, but Heath gets to his feet. Clinkard wants to make sure anyway, why not? And this is huge danger for Leicester City, and I'm sure Ian Andrews knows it. There's only one thing going to happen here. Kevin Sheedy's going to have a crack. And he comes. Oh! So close from Kevin Sheedy. Ian Andrews was floundering. He threw himself to his right hand side. And Kevin Sheedy, oh so close yet again. And Everton are in total control. Well, it was as recent as November that these two sides met at Filbert Street. Everton running out 2-0 winners that day. There are 7 Everton starters from that game and 8 starters for Leicester City. Good low ball. Nice flick off by Heath. Oh, and Sheedy just couldn't get there. But Everton win it back again, as they have done so often this afternoon already. Another ball comes into the penalty area. Heath with the header, and it's wide. Less than a quarter of an hour to go here at Goodison Park. Everton 2, Leicester City 0. Now then, a chance for Adrian Heath. He's round Andrews. Adrian Heath, is this 3? No! Scrambled off the line by John O'Neill. Great defending by the Irishman, and I'm sure Adrian Heath, along with myself and everybody inside Goodison Park, thought that he'd scored the third goal. Came from nowhere. Good defending again by Dave Watson. Ramsey wins the header. Volleyed high into the air by Gary Stevens. Wilkinson's underneath this. It's over Wilkinson and O'Neill. Simon Morgan clears his lines. Flicked on by Smith. Steve Baran can't get there before Gary Stevens. Stevens plays a long, hopeful ball forward, which is dealt with. Mark Venus. Oh, that's a great challenge by Trevor Stephen. Will it break for Paul Power on the left-hand side? And Paul Power drills it wide. Well, it's wave after wave of attack. Leicester City caught in the eye of a blue storm here at Goodison Park. And Paul Power tries his luck again. You just can't see a way back for Leicester City in this game. There's a long, long way to go and anything can happen, but yet again they give the ball away. They've surrendered possession so cheaply on so many occasions. Oh, that's a lovely ball down the right hand side to Trevor Stephen. Another chance for Everton. Trevor Stephen overhits the cross, but it'll be chased down and Everton can relaunch it again. Infield to Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy into the penalty area it comes again. Headed away by Ramsey. And safely into the arms of Ian Andrews, and everybody in a red jersey will take a deep breath, but Ian Andrews tries the quick goal kick and it doesn't work. Headed into the air by Simon Morgan. I just think anywhere will do at the moment for Leicester City, because when they try to play out the back they can't do so. There's another example, and that'll spin away for a corner kick, that. And again, Leicester City, architects of their own downfall. Far, far too wasteful, far too sloppy when they've got the ball. Not that we're complaining. And yet another opportunity for the Toffees. Corner kick at the Park End. Dave Watson goes for this, wins it, and it's not too far away. Well, you could see the intention, couldn't you? Dave Watson watched that ball all the way, and when he made his move he was never going to lose out in the air. Just couldn't direct it on target, and Leicester City can breathe again, but for how long? 2-0, and it could and possibly should be more. Nice play by Gary Stevens, but Ramsey picks up the crossfield pass. Well, Leicester City came here today knowing that 3 points would have taken them out of the relegation zone, but they certainly haven't looked like a side that's desperate for 3 points. But a little bit of a mix-up inside the Everton penalty area momentarily until Kevin Ratcliffe scoops the ball clear. Feely Does really well actually. Dave Watson puts a foot in. Now chance for Everton to counter yet again. But on that occasion the forward ball doesn't quite reach Paul Wilkinson.
Police message for Antonio Petita to the police room as soon as possible. Antonio Petita to the police room as soon as possible. Thank you.
Smith can't get a flick on, and Mr. Dilk sees a push inside the penalty area anyway, and that foray into Everton territory is prematurely ended. 2-0, nice and comfortable, 9 minutes to go at the end of this first half. It's been a decent game of football so far. I'm sure the punters, certainly those from Merseyside, have enjoyed it, but just going through a little bit of a sloppy, scrappy phase the last 3 or 4 minutes. Neither side keeping the ball consistently. Mark Venus will take this throw in for Leicester. Infield to his captain, John O'Neill. Little chip forward by O'Neill. Smith heads it on, but it's cleared by Gary Stevens. Venus is underneath it again. And he takes a little bit of a chance, and John O'Neill just had to rush and scamper to get there before Adrian Heath. Ratcliffe wins the header. Watson clears his lines. Look at the space inside the centre circle for Everton. Sheedy. Headed in field by Power to Heath. His layoff though doesn't find a blue jersey. McAllister can play it forward to Smith. Smith gets the look of the ricochet. Good header on by Smith, picked up by Steve Moran. Curled forward by Mark Venus to Smith again. Back to Moran again. Chipped to the far side of the penalty area, but the linesman's flag is up. I think the man offside was Paul Ramsey. Yeah, the 4 changes from the Everton side that won at Filbert Street in November. Derek Mountfield, Graham Sharp, Neil Adams and Kevin Langley are missing from the 11 that were on parade that afternoon. It was a comfortable victory for the Toffees. Gary Stevens to Trevor Stephen. Cross comes in, headed away. Harper chases it down. Gary Stevens picks it up again. Oh, it's a good ball towards Trevor Stevens. It's not going to reach him. And Mark Venus panicked a little bit and has lashed the ball into the crowd. It'll be a throw-in for Everton. Stevens launches a long one, and it's headed behind by Mark Venus for an Everton corner. 5 minutes to go before half-time, and although it's a long way from home, you have to say that one more goal will probably be enough for Everton here this afternoon. It'd be nice if we could get it before half-time. Gary Stevens, Sheedy. Nice tidy football from Everton. Here's Kevin Ratcliffe carrying the ball forward, and Kevin Ratcliffe goes for goal. Well, you don't see that very often, do you? I suppose when you're 2-0 up with just over 4 minutes to go at the end of the first half, you can try your luck, but he's no goal scorer, Kevin Ratcliffe, just 2 in his Everton career thus far. Norwich City and, of course, at Anfield last season. He struck that well, he should try more often. Oh, lovely ball. Sheedy. Nice play by Trevor Stephen. Ramsey can bring it away for Leicester. Forward to Moran. But again, it's a rather hopeful ball forward from Leicester City. And Neville Southall, apart from those 3 quick-fire tackles, has rather been a spectator this afternoon. Well, there's a man down inside the centre circle. It's Ali Morclin. The game is carrying on though. John O'Neill fizzes it wide towards Rob Kelly. Trevor Stephen takes over. Trevor Stephen finds Sheedy. Paul Power again. Paul Power tries his luck again, and he comes closer than last time, but not close enough. Well, he's in the mood this afternoon, isn't he, Paul Power? Drilled it again with his left foot. It was a well-placed shot, well-struck shot, but it fizzed past the post, and it stays at 2-0. And Ali Morclin looks in a little bit of trouble here. Just a couple of minutes to go before the end of the first half. So quite whether Leicester City will make the change or not, or give Ali Morclin the half-time break to try and recover. He's limping a little bit gingerly towards the sideline, is Ali Morclin. And Paul Bunce, the teenage substitute, is certainly out of his seat. Well, the stadium announcers just announced Paul Bunce is coming on, but he actually hasn't come on the field. There's Ali Morclin. You can just see in the bottom left of your picture. He's being led away to do a little bit of a warm-up, or a little bit of light jogging to just see how bad the injury is. But Paul Bunce, the substitute, is not on the field, contrary to the stadium announcement. And Leicester City will end what's been a challenging first half with 10 men, but they could end it on a positive note here, because they've got a free kick which Mark Venus will take. Everton defending to the edge of the penalty area, as you can see. Venus, it's a decent ball in, and Paul Wilkinson, of all people, is back there helping out, and that could have gone anywhere. And super delivery in from Mark Venus, and Paul Wilkinson flung himself at that. I'm sure he's mightily relieved that it didn't find the top corner of Neville Southall's net. There he is again, Paul Wilkinson. Second corner in succession for Leicester. Well, as I said, it's been a tough half, but they're ending it positively. In comes the third corner, and for the third time in succession, Paul Wilkinson heads it behind. Well, he's scored one, but he's earning his defensive money just at the moment is Paul Wilkinson. And it's fourth corner. Make that a fifth. This time it's Kevin Ratcliffe. Well, virtually all the stoppage time is going to be taken up with Leicester City corner kicks. They need to get one a little bit deeper than they do on this occasion. And after all that, Neville Southall grabs it, and then he launches an Everton counter-attack with Alan Harper. Trevor Stephen steaming through the middle, Paul Wilkinson as well, but Harper plays it nice and sensible. Short ball to Stephen, then he slides it into the path of Gary Stevens, galloping forward in that athletic stride of his. The cross comes in from Stevens, and it's grabbed by Ian Andrews. Well, that was a lively ending, wasn't it, to the first half, as Mr. Dilks brings to a close an extremely satisfying first 45 minutes for Everton. Heath opened the scoring, Wilkinson doubled the lead, Paul Power came close on a couple of occasions, and Adrian Heath saw one scrambled off the line. I simply can't see where Leicester City can forge a comeback in this game, but there's still 45 minutes to go at Goodison Park at half time. Everton 2, Leicester City 0. $39,748 the attendance this afternoon here at Goodison Park, and the vast majority will have thoroughly enjoyed the opening 45 minutes. And I can tell you, as the second half gets underway, that 19-year-old Leicester City substitute Paul Bunce has replaced Ali Morecambe, the Leicester City midfield player who's given, I understand, every opportunity during the half-time break to recover from his leg injury. He hasn't done so, and Bunce, who made his debut as recently as October, is on. Harper, Wilkinson, and Adrian Heath. Wilkinson's chip! Almost a sensational start for Everton. 35 seconds into the second half. Lovely bit of football from the Toffees, and Paul Wilkinson saw his opportunity, and that would have been an incredible start to the second half. Leicester City on the back foot straight away. There'll be a free kick for Everton. Chance for Gary Stevens to put the hapless Foxes under pressure again. But Adrian Heath just couldn't get on the end of that flick from Dave Watson. And it's a poor throw out from Ian Andrews. That'll be a throw in again for Everton. That's a good interception. It's a good forward ball by Kevin Sheedy. Wilkinson's on the end of this. It comes off John O'Neill, and it finds the back of the net. And John O'Neill scores the own goal that has surely put this game beyond Leicester City. Well, Paul Wilkinson doesn't really know whether to claim it or not. I can tell you he's not getting it. It definitely came off John O'Neill. Everton 3, Leicester City 0, and that's surely game, set and match, with the vast majority of the second half still to play. Well, there could be nothing worse, can there, for a manager whose side is trailing at half time. You deliver what you hope will be a stirring team talk to rally the troops for the second period, and within 2 minutes of the restart they're virtually out of sight. Handed over Liverpool is once again the chant from the Goodison faithful, and Everton are in the final third of the field again, scrapping around for possession, but McAllister can bring it away. McAllister is caught up though by Neil Poynton. Does well though McAllister, to be fair, and he finds Rob Kelly. Rob Kelly can't find a red jersey And Kevin Sheedy gives it away. Now then, inside the Everton penalty area, across the face of the goal, and it's dealt with. It'll be a corner kick for Leicester. In comes the corner, flicked on. Chance at the far side for Leicester City. On a real game of pinball inside the Everton penalty area, and eventually it's cleared. And Adrian Heath loses out though to Mark Venus, but Paul Wilkinson of all people clears it. He didn't like the challenge, Paul Wilkinson. The ball is with Neville Southall. Well, I've just been passed a statistic. That's the first own goal that's gone Everton's way in the league since May 1983. John Walk scored an own goal for Ipswich Town in the last game of the season. And it's been some 3.5 years since Everton have had an own goal in the league go our way. Let me tell you, since then, 7 own goals have gone in, but they've all been in cup games. I don't waste my nights. Throwing for Everton. Ratcliffe crossed into the penalty area, hanging in the air. John O'Neill makes a bit of a hash of the clearance. Wilkinson tries to win it. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty, mainly from the supporters. Roger Dilks largely unimpressed. Gary Stevens to Trevor Steven, back to Trevor Steven again. Can he keep it in play? Just about he can, and he wins a corner, and he did well there, Trevor Steven. It looked for all the world as if the ball would roll over the goal line at the Gladys Street end, but Trevor Steven managed to divert the ball towards the box, and he's won Everton a corner. And you know what, this is going to be a long second half for Leicester, you can see that. And there's a bit of respite with a corner from Kevin Sheedy that eludes everybody.
Announce a request that I did forget before. This one for Mark File from West Kirby, who celebrated his 11th birthday on Christmas Day. He's attending his first match. Good as happy birthday, Mark. That comes from the guys in the hospital broadcast service.
It's a good ball to this left hand side, just couldn't quite keep it in play. Adrian Heath. Ramsey beaten to it by Sheedy. Here's Trevor Steven trying to jink his way through. Just runs out of space and time, and Ian Andrews gathers it safely. Well, I think it's fairly safe to say, and I hope I'm not tempting fate, that the 3 points are going Everton's way. And it's a very congested top zone in the First Division table. Oh, here's a chance. Wilkinson, no, he's offside, and he just doesn't manage to lobby in Andrews anyway. Yeah, there's 3 points between Everton in second place and Tottenham Hotspur in 6th at the moment, so nobody can afford any slip-ups. Leicester City did the chasing pack, and Everton in particular a favour last weekend when Steve Moran's goal earned them a 1-1 draw with the leaders Arsenal. Well, if Leicester are to get anything, you would think it will come from a set piece, and if they are to get something, they need to get off the mark very soon. Again, there's a bit of a scramble inside the Everton penalty area. It's chased down on that left hand side, but good interception though by Trevor Steven. Back to Gary Stevens. Long ball footers towards Wilkinson, and this time Wilkinson is onside. Adrian Heath just couldn't get the final touch, but a devastating break from Everton. I don't think it'll end 3-0. I think there's more goals in this. It's not been a pleasant return to Goodison Park for Brian Hamilton. But it might get better. Leicester City attacking the left-hand side. Cross comes into the penalty area. And it's a really, really good header away. Excellent tidying up by Trevor Stephen. Not afraid to get his hands dirty, the Everton and England winger. Well, it's fair to say that particular forward ball didn't go according to plan. From Gary McAllister. It's a throw in for Everton on this near side. Poynton takes it. Can't find Adrian Heath. A chance for Leicester City to counter on this right hand side, but Kevin Ratcliffe uses his pace and gets goal side of Alan Smith. Then he forces Alan Smith away from goal. Then he gets a foot in, and that was really good defending by the Everton captain. And Sheedy can bring it away now for the Toffees. And he slides it to the right-hand side. Now, Trevor Stephen into the penalty area. Oh, the chance is lost. It's also tight at the bottom, by the way, where Leicester City are lingering as Alan Smith plays the ball all the way through to Neville Southall. Charlton Athletic currently bottom of the table, and only 4 points separate the Addicts from Southampton, who are up in 16th. So every point counts, whether you're at the top or the bottom of the First Division. Oof, good strong challenge then. Paul Ramsey and Alan Harper, neither one was pulling out of that one, and well, Alan Harper I think was a little bit frustrated that he didn't get a free kick for that challenge by Paul Ramsey, so he chased back and he took retribution into his own hands, and Mr. Dukes says that's a free kick, which Gary McAllister takes and gives it to Mark Venus, and he crosses into the Everton penalty area, headed away by Ratcliffe. Paul Ramsey got the shout to leave it, so he did. Feely crossed into the box, headed into the air by Harper, headed back by Feely again, but it bounces through safely to Neville Southall, and not for the first time. Southall clears his lines quickly, and Heath wins the header against Simon Morgan, but Wilkinson can't get on the end of it. Now then, Steve Moran trying to create space for an effort on goal, and he does finally get a shot away, Steve Moran, but it's comfortably smothered by Neville Southall. He's only scored 5 goals so far this season, Steve Moran, since his £300,000 move from Southampton in the summer, and 3 of those have come in the League Cup. So as we approach the end of December, it's not a very good return for the money paid for him, in all honesty, from Steve Moran. He has been a smashing First Division player though over the years with Southampton. A bit unfortunate to be injured when international honours were beckoning Steve Moran. And still a player that needs to be kept an eye on, especially when he's alongside someone like Alan Smith. Here he is again, Steve Moran. Good ball, good use of the ball to Rob Kelly. Kelly tries to find Alan Smith but can't do so. And dare I suggest that Leicester City might just be finding their feet here. Is it a matter of Leicester upping their game or Everton taking their foot off the gas? Well, Neville Southall was untroubled once again by that effort from Alan Smith. But it can be difficult when you're so comfortable, and not just scoreline wise but certainly territorially. Everton having enjoyed by far the lion's share of the play this afternoon, and are full value, by no means flattered in any way, shape or form by the 3-0 leading margin. Bunce plays it forward. Southall's out of his goal again. And once again he doesn't stand on ceremony. He slams it into the roof of the upper Bullen stand. Throw in for Leicester. Three ever presents so far this season for Everton in the First Division. Kevin Ratcliffe, Paul Power and Trevor Stephen, yet to miss a single league game between them. And that tells you how consistent those three have been. Good challenge by Ratcliffe. Now will it break? No, it won't break for Adrian Heath. An hour gone at Goodison Park. Everton 3, Leicester City 0. And Alan Smith's foot was a little bit too high for Roger Doak's liking. Kevin Ratcliffe still went for it anyway, and he wins the free kick. A bit of head tennis, and Sheedy's volley is just too high. Well, the ball wouldn't come down, would it, for anybody, until it dropped for Kevin Sheedy inside the penalty area. But it was always rising, he was always underneath it. And the chance goes begging. Kevin Sheedy on 12 goals this season for Everton. Looked like handball, and it was. Long free kick, flicked on, and Paul Power. That was a decent effort from Paul Power. His third one of the afternoon. He caught it well enough, plenty of movement as well in the air. And it wasn't a million miles away, and he's determined to get one this afternoon, Paul Power, isn't he? Don't rule it out. Mark Venus, the 19-year-old. Flicked on by Smith, headed away by Kevin Ratcliffe. Now then, Steve Moran stayed on side. Good hold-up play by the Southampton striker. Decent ball into the penalty area as well, and Neville Southall had to grab it. And there's that tactic again of the quick clearance, and Wilkinson will chase it down. He's certainly got the legs on John O'Neill, but Ian Andrews had just too much of a head start. Now then, can Everton take a quick throw in with Poynton? Oh, Poynton's pass to Paul Power had far too much pace on it. And it'll be a throw in for Leicester. And it's gone a little bit quiet around Goodison Park. Good movement from Adrian Heath. Back to Neil Poynton, but the final pass didn't match the movement, and the ball is out of play, and it'll be a throw in for Leicester City on this near side, and Feely throws it all the way back to his goalkeeper Ian Andrews. Poor clearness though from Andrews. Heath looks for Wilkinson. Oh, great play, super play from Trevor Stephen, but he just couldn't pick up the return pass from Wilkinson. John O'Neill wins the header. In fact, it comes off Paul Wilkinson and will be a Leicester City throw-in. Just haven't made any inroads, have they, Leicester City? It's been a controlled performance by Everton. Imperious at the back, lively up front and dominant in midfield, and you can't really ask for much more than that. Every time Leicester City have tried to play out from the back, they've been unable to do so. But they're going to go again now here with Andy Feely. And on that occasion, Neil Poynton a little bit too keen to win the challenge. And it's a free kick for Leicester. Ramsey. Ramsey again. Is he going to go for goal? Yes, he is, Paul Ramsey. And well, it was a comfortable save for Neville Southall, but it's another effort on goal from Leicester at least to give them a little bit of heart. Didn't quite catch it plumb, did he? Paul Ramsey. Now then, will this break on the right hand side? Cross comes into the penalty area, headed away. It'll be a throw in for Everton again. Trevor Stephen gives it back to Gary Stevens. Well, Everton never really had that under control, and Leicester City can clear their lines, and Kevin Ratcliffe, as always, quick enough to get there. He reads the danger, he smells the danger, and then he snuffs it out time and time again. Having pace like an Olympic sprinter helps, obviously. Southall's target is Paul Wilkinson. Good covering though by Simon Morgan. And Everton just beginning to turn the screw again. They are 2/3 of the way through this game. And from the moment that Everton took the lead early doors in the first half, it's never really been in doubt. Are they famous last words? Trevor Stevens, snapshot! Good effort. And I've lost count of the number of attempts on goal Everton have had. There was very little space for Trevor Stephen to work with, and with very little backlift he missed the target by half a yard or so. Poynton knocks it forward. Power scrapping away. Here's Ramsey. Good foot in though from Neil Poynton. Here's Ratcliffe. Oh, it's a good layoff. Shooting opportunity again for Everton. But Adrian Heath is forced away from goal. Well, he's scrapping away to try and win a corner, and he has done. Good play. Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's what Adrian Heath did And he's won Everton a corner kick. Trevor Stephen did offer the short corner routine, but it was waved away. Wilkinson can't get a shot in. Mark Venus. All he can do is find touch. Just over 20 minutes to go. Stephen. Kevin Ratcliffe to Boynton. Power to Boynton again. But the flick from Adrian Heath has far too much purchase on it. And Paul Wilkinson had no chance of reacting to that. Ratcliffe wins it but doesn't get a clean header on it. Neil Boynton takes no chances and puts his foot through it. Free kick for Leicester City. Paul Wilkinson tracks John O'Neill all the way to the edge of the Everton penalty area. Oh, Southall drops it, and it's a good job Paul Wilkinson was there because it's he who's made the clearance. Venus puts the ball back into the Everton penalty area and it's powered away by Wilkinson again. He's got through some sterling work at both ends of the pitch this afternoon as Paul Wilkinson. I'm not sure that came off Neil Boynton last of all, but Mr Dilks has given Leicester City a corner kick in front of their travelling supporters. They've not had a great deal to enthuse them this afternoon. Not had a great deal to enthuse them all season, if the truth be known. Needless to say, it's Paul Wilkinson who heads it away again. Well, he's been given his opportunity this afternoon by the injury to Graham Sharp, and while Sharp will come back in once he's fit, Paul Wilkinson has done his credentials no harm at all this afternoon. He's defended really well when he's needed to. He scored one goal, forced the own goal at the start of the second half and wasn't too far away with a clever little chip that left Ian Andrews floundering. So it's been a good afternoon for the former Grimsby Town centre forward. That looked like a foul, and it was. John O'Neill on Wilkinson. Sheedy swings the free kick in, but it's hacked to safety. And we're about to see Warren Aspinall for the last 18 minutes or so. And the thunderous applause is for Paul Power. And he's earned every bit of the applause that he's afforded from the Goodison faithful. He had a smashing game again today, Paul Power, and he's been unfortunate not to score on 3 occasions.
Well, the police message, ladies and gentlemen, Mr Douglas, the owner of a green Cavalier B306 AKX, to the police room as soon as possible. That's the owner of a green Cavalier.
And there's another break in play, and doesn't that always happen? You make a substitution and then within seconds somebody needs a bit of treatment, and it's Dave Watson who's getting the magic sponge off John Clinkard, and I just hope that Howard Kendall doesn't live to regret the withdrawal of Paul Power. I mean, it takes a lot for Dave Watson to leave the field. He's drawn a little bit of blood there, but Magnum PI has sorted it out, and Dave Watson, the trooper that he is, will, I'm sure, continue to the end of this game. In fact, he'll probably try and get on the end of this throw-in from Gary Stevens. It's inside the penalty area, and the overhead kick was audacious, but lacked the power. The clearance from Ian Andrews strikes one of his own players and could have put Everton back on the attack, but luckily for the Leicester goalkeeper it didn't. Wilkinson, good flick on by him, but it's tidied up by Mark Venus, and the ball gets stuck under Mark Venus's foot somewhat. And here come Everton again, and that really has been Leicester's Achilles heel all afternoon, hasn't it? The number of wasteful passes, unforced errors. Here's Gary Stevens. That's a fine ball. Good play by Trevor Stephen, and Adrian Heath heads the ball into the back of the net, and Everton lead by 4-0, and it's another very, very well crafted Everton goal. Trevor Stephen once again the provider, and Adrian Heath diving full length to force the ball past the goalkeeper Ian Andrews into the back of the net. 12 goals in 11 games for Adrian Heath. Everton 4, Leicester City 0. And a thoroughly miserable afternoon for Leicester. What I was going to say is well and truly complete, but it might not be. There might yet be more goals in this one. And Adrian Heath is rather unfortunate that England have not got another game until February, because I'm sure Bobby Robson has made a note of the name Adrian Heath. He's in terrific form. But England don't play Spain in that friendly until February. Well, Kevin Ratcliffe won the challenge, and Kevin Ratcliffe has continued forward. What's he doing there? He finds Paul Wilkinson. Wilkinson, oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. And I'm sure with Kevin Ratcliffe as club captain, he'll pull Paul Wilkinson to one side at the end of this game and ask him for an explanation, because it's not often that Kevin Ratcliffe scampers forward to join the attack. Well, he started that one and just couldn't quite get on the end of it. It's been that sort of afternoon, hasn't it? McAllister. Good footwork, but again, you wouldn't think Everton were falling up, would you? The ferocity of the challenges, the intensity of the play, the eagerness of the pressing. Everton just are not giving Leicester City a moment's peace. Oh, lovely turn again by Trevor Stephen. Aspinall, infield to Poynton. The supporters are lapping this up. I'll tell you what, there's more goals in this, I'm sure. Could be now, in fact. Sheedy chips it forward inside the penalty area, headed away and then scrambled back to the goalkeeper. It was almost a second own goal of the afternoon. But it's all Everton now, sweeping forward at will. Nobody forward for Leicester. Neville Southall once again has time to pick the ball up and have a look up and bounce it once or twice, then launch it into the dark sky here at Goodison Park. Everton's last fixture of what has been a really encouraging calendar year. Obviously the mid part of 1986 won't be remembered with much fondness by Evertonians, runners up in the league and the cup, but all things considered, 1986, it hasn't been the worst year. Just one home defeat in the whole of 1986. And that was in October against Arsenal, by the way. In it comes, in goes Feely! Good save by Neville Southall. I think it was one for the cameras in the end. But Andy Feely climbed well there, the Leicester City midfield player. And Neville Southall, I think just to give himself something to do, make him feel part of the game, an acrobatic dive away to his left. Volleyed forward by Kevin Ratcliffe, headed away by Mark Venus. Tidied up though well by Gary Stevens. And again it's a rapid release from Neville Southall. Oh, lovely bit of skill. Unfortunately the delivery didn't match the approach play. Little over 10 minutes to go. The game over as a contest, and it really is now just a case of how many? How many do you want? Trevor Stephen trying to dribble his way through, and the shot comes in from Paul Wilkinson, always rising, just clears the crossbar, but a decent effort from a guy who's had a really decent game. Ramsey, Smith goes for the return, but Moran picks it up, feeds it wide to Venus. Good approach play by Southampton, and Steve Moran has found the back of the net. Well, there you go. Well, Leicester City, they're certainly not back in it, but at least it's a consolation for the travelling Leicester fans, and it was a good goal as well. Decent ball in from the teenager Mark Venus, and Steve Moran glances home his 6th goal of the season. Everton 4, Leicester City 1. If he can keep it in, and he has done, but it's headed away by O'Neill. Chased down by Stephen. Harper can't get the return, but it's sliced into the air by Venus. Neil Poynton tries to head it towards Aspinall, and he manages it at the second attempt. Here's Aspinall, but just couldn't control it at the first attempt, and then is challenged. But he wins the throw-in. What an Aspinall. Poynton takes it quickly, then gets it back again off Sheedy. Here's Sheedy again. One touch to control it, one touch to volley it, but nobody attacking it inside the penalty area. Harper can't get there before McAllister, and he plays a super ball wide to Steve Moran, who run at Dave Watson, and Moran brings it in field, but Watson sticks to the task, wins the tackle, and Neil Poynton, cool and calm as you like, just glides the ball back to Neville Southall. Well, it's been a really good festive period, hasn't it, for the Toffees. 3-0 win against Wimbledon before Christmas, 4-0 at Newcastle on Boxing Day, 4-1 this afternoon with the chance for more. Wilkinson, good save by Ian Andrews. Chance for Heath, and another good save by Ian Andrews. And I'm sure the applause that rings around Goodison Park is as much for the young goalkeeper as it is for Wilkinson and Heath for their attempts on goal. Fair play to Ian Andrews. Not much he could do with any of the goals so far this afternoon. There's Alan Smith trying to get in on the act, and that time it was Neville Southall who had to stand strong, and what a lively finish to the game. Well, Was that handball by Paul Wilkinson? Yes, it was. Well, he pleads his innocence, but even from here it looked as if Wilkinson had controlled the ball with his arm. A little quick glance by Roger Dilks to his linesman on this near side to affirm it. We're going to win the league, sing the Evertonians, and on this form, even though they are 4 points behind Arsenal, who would bet against them? Ooh, that's a strong challenge from Warren Aspinall on Rob Kelly, and he felt that, Rob Kelly, and I don't think Warren Aspinall's heard the last of that. Youthful exuberance from the Everton youngster, but Rob Kelly certainly felt it. And Mr. Dilks, just off your picture, had a quick word with Warren Aspinall. Well, he's no stranger to Merseyside. Rob Kelly had a loan spell a couple of seasons ago on the other side of the River Mersey with Tranmere Rovers, and he certainly felt that one on his return to this parish. And it wasn't a pleasant challenge from Warren Aspinall, but the youngster, who is yet to start again for Everton, is obviously desperately keen to impress Howard Kendall. On that occasion, you have to say, a little bit too keen. McAllister takes the free kick towards Feely. Feely gets the cross inside the penalty area. It was flicked on by Steve Moran, and Neville Southall had to be alert then to turn it round for a corner. Well, they've been quite lively in the last 15 minutes, Leicester City, and I'm sure the visiting supporters will want to know why they weren't this lively for the opening hour or so. Everton deal comfortably with the corner. Aspinall closes down Gary McAllister. McAllister gets a cross in. It's over everybody, reaches Alan Smith. Back it goes towards Simon Morgan, and he gets underneath it and skies the effort. And with just over 4 minutes to go, it remains Everton 4, Leicester City 1. Poynton looks for Aspinall. Aspinall gets the flick on, then tries to close down the challenge. Feely to Ramsey. Ramsey looks for Steve Moran, but Kevin Ratcliffe just ushers him out the way, and then Neville Southall gets the clearance a little bit wrong, I think it's fair to say. I don't think he meant to just prod the ball out of play on this near side. Andy Feely will take the throw-in into the penalty area, helped on by Smith, headed into the air by Ratcliffe. Nice control by McAllister, but then Neil Poynton doesn't stand on ceremony. He smashes it to safety. O'Neill picks it up for Leicester, clips it to that left-hand side, but good defending, and it'll be a corner kick for the Foxes. Dave Watson just organising things in the heart of the defence. Good to see Dave Watson fully recovered from the blow he took a few moments ago. The last thing Howard Kendall needs is any more injuries. No Paul Bracewell for a while, of course. Peter Reid and Pat Vandenhouwe and Graham Sharp currently on the injured list as well. Everton have been linked in the newspapers this week with a move for Leeds United captain Ian Snowden. Make of that what you will. Heath to Sheedy. Kevin Sheedy. Oh, what about that? What about that? That is a typical Kevin Sheedy goal. Absolutely fabulous. And that is a master chef icing the cake here at Goodison Park. Absolutely sublime. Spotted the goalkeeper off his line in a flash. And the most delicate of chipped efforts over Andrews into the back of the net, and it's 5-1 for Everton. Now remember, Everton beating Leicester City 5-1 at Filbert Street When would that have been? Some 9 years ago, 1977, and it's 5-1 again here at Goodison Park as Alan Smith tries a chip of his own. I think it was more of a cross than an attempt on goal, and Leicester City have won a corner. And just 5 weeks ago, Leicester were beaten 5-1 against Watford. It's 5-1 again. It's relegation form. In comes the corner kick. Comes off Kevin Ratcliffe, I think it was. And Neville Southall had to acrobatically turn it over. And a quick word of thanks, I think, from the Everton skipper, who's had useful attempts on goal at both ends now. And we're in the 90th minute. And it's another Leicester City corner. And it's another Kevin Ratcliffe header. Ramsey guides it back wide, but it's intercepted. And I was just about to say, can Everton launch a counter-attack? Be greedy to on 6, but we'll settle for 5. Well, it's a measure of just how well Everton have played this afternoon. If you look around Goodison Park, very, very few people are leaving the stadium. The points have been in the bag for a long, long time. But as we approach the final whistle, you can see that the crowd are fully intending on staying behind to salute this Everton performance, which has been irresistible at times. And everybody's still purring inside the stadium over that Kevin Sheedy goal. We're into injury time here now at Goodison Park as Gary McAllister tries to launch one last Leicester City foray into Everton territory. Cleared by Watson. And Roger Dilks has seen enough. He blows the final whistle, and that, you have to say, was simply awesome. Everton in full control from start to finish, and it's 15 points from the last 18 available in the First Division. 28 goals in the last 9 games in all competitions. The Gunners are still setting the pace in the First Division table, but the message from Howard Kendall and his players this afternoon is a simple one. Arsenal, we're coming for you. Sensational stuff today at Goodison Park. Everton 5, Leicester City 1.